Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to talk about some Prizepicks plays I like for the NBA board on Saturday, November the 5th. We do have a 7 or 8 game Saturday slate for today, guys, and I got 2 picks that I'm going to give out in this video. Now, before we talk through the 2 picks that I do like for today, as always, if you guys enjoy all the Prizepicks content that I do provide over on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. I always appreciate all the likes. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you are new to Prizepicks, make sure to check them out and sign up with my promo code NOAH. You will get your first deposit match up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And also, if you guys want more Prizepicks plays from me, I do provide more Prizepicks content over on Patreon. You can check all that out, link down below in the description. I do give out additional Prizepicks plays over there. I give a full write-up for each play that I do provide on Patreon. Usually, depending on the slate, it's anywhere from 2 to 3, 4, 5 plays maybe. For kind of like a 7-8 game slate like tonight, I'll probably have at least 2 or 3 more picks I'll give out over on Patreon. If you want access to those, you can check all that out. Link down below in the description. But let's talk through this board. Let's see some picks I like. I got 2 picks we're going to give out in this video, guys. So first off, we're going to start off in the fantasy score category, talk about a fantasy score prop that I do like for today, and then we're going to talk about a points prop that I like for today. So for fantasy score, we're going to go down to Rudy Gobert. 36.5 fantasy points is his projection for today, going up against the Rockets. And I think Rudy Gobert's got a good chance to go over this. Now, if you look over his last 5 games, he has not played that well lately, and I think that's one of the reasons you're seeing this projection so low. He's only gone over 36.5 fantasy points once over his last 5 games. But Gobert, he's historically been a pretty productive point-per-minute player. So far this season with the Timberwolves, he has averaged 1.12 fantasy points per minute. He's never going to be a guy that really demands a lot of usage. He has a fairly low usage rate. A lot of his fantasy points are going to come from, putbacks, from rebounds, and from block shots. But he should have a lot of opportunity for all those stats, here against Houston. So, first off, this is a really good matchup against the Rockets. The Rockets have been one of the worst defensive teams, last 2 seasons. I know last season they were dead last in defensive rating. This season they're 22nd in defensive rating. And both of these teams play at a really fast pace. So far this season, the Timberwolves are playing at the 4th fastest pace in the league, and the Rockets are playing at the 8th fastest pace in the league. So this should be a game where you see a lot of points scored. Right now, this game does have a very, very high total. We've got a 231.5 total here between the Rockets and the Timberwolves. So 231.5 total. The Timberwolves are favored by 8.5. They are kind of big favorites in this game. But I don't know if the Timberwolves can blow out Houston here. Like, Minnesota's not been playing that well lately. They're also on a back-to-back. I think Houston can keep this game close. And if Houston does keep this game close, we should see Gobert play at least like low to mid-30s minutes. He's averaged over a fantasy point per minute this season. I think his production should definitely be up in this matchup. It's a really good spot. Gobert, again, like what he does the best is, when he racks up a lot of fantasy points, it's because he gets a lot of points, rebounds, and block shots. He really doesn't do anything else except those 3 stats. But looking at so far this season against the center position, the Rockets, in terms of like rebounding, they've been, a decent rebounding team. They're about middle of the pack in terms of rebounds allowed to centers. In terms of points allowed to centers, they've been about middle of the pack in that category as well. But where they've really struggled is they're giving up a lot of block shots. They're actually giving up the most block shots to opposing centers this season, almost 4 blocks per game to centers. So I think this is definitely a spot where Rudy Gobert could maybe get 3, 4, 5 blocks. We know Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green both like to drive to the basket a lot. And if they're driving to the basket with Rudy Gobert in the paint, Gobert's going to have a good chance to get a lot of blocks on those smaller guards. So I could definitely see him getting a double-double with some block shots here. If he plays 34, 35 minutes, he should average over a fantasy point per minute in this matchup. 36.5 fantasy points I think is definitely too low. I think this is a really good spot. I think it's a great game environment. Hopefully this game stays close. With Minnesota on a back-to-back, I think there's a good chance the Rockets can keep this game close to where we do see Gobert play his full minutes. So I like this prop quite a bit. I did want to take a look and see Gobert's game log versus the Rockets, because I want to say he's had some really good games against Houston, just previously when they've played. So like lately, like when he was on Utah, he had a 59.4 fantasy point game against Houston. He had 19 points, 22 rebounds. I know he's had some big games in the past against Houston. Obviously, it's a different team, so totally different scenario. But last few games against Houston, 59.4, 55, 50. He's had some really big games against the Rockets. So wouldn't be surprised if you do see another big game for Rudy Gobert here. I think he's got a good chance to go over 36.5 fantasy points. And then our second pick to pair with that, we're going to go over to the points prop category. I think we got another big in a really good matchup. Talk about Nikola Jokic. 24.5 points for Nikola Jokic. I'm going to be taking the over here. I think Jokic has a very good chance to score at least 25 points today. Love this matchup for him going up against the Spurs. The Spurs this season defensively against the center position, they've been one of the worst defensive teams in the league. And when you look at Jokic, his points prop, he's only gone over this line in one side of their last 5 games, so pretty similar to Gobert. Jokic's scoring has been down a little bit this season. I know last season he averaged I want to say 25 or 26 points per game last season. His scoring has been a little bit down this season. His usage rate's also been a little bit down. I think a large part of that is because Jamal Murray's back, Michael Porter Jr. is healthy as well. But Jokic is still averaging over 20 points per game, even though his scoring has been down. And this is a matchup where he should be able to have a ton of success. When you look at the Spurs and where they really struggle, it's in the paint. So far this season, only the Jazz are giving up more points in the paint than the Spurs. Where does Jokic do a lot of his damage? In the paint. Now, he is a big that can stretch the floor. He can shoot threes. He's got a good mid-range jumper. But Jokic he's going to body you up in the paint, and he's going to get easy baskets right near at the rim. And that's where the Spurs really struggle. They're giving up the second most points in the paint this season. Also, to the center position, they've been giving up a lot of points this season. Second most points allowed to centers, only behind the Warriors. So really, really good matchup here for Jokic. I think this game should stay close. I believe this game might be played in Denver tonight. It is actually played in Denver, so right now Denver is favored by 11.5. This is another game that I guess does have a little bit of blowout risk. The Spurs are on a back-to-back, which is a little bit worrisome. San Antonio on a back-to-back. Denver fully rested here. Could Denver blow out San Antonio? I guess it's a possibility, but I think the matchup is so good that even if Jokic only plays 3 quarters, he could still score 25 fantasy points in 3 quarters. He's not been scoring the ball a ton this season, but I think this is a matchup where he should definitely have a lot of success. I don't think the Spurs really have anyone to guard him. I think Jokic can definitely eat up in this spot. And I also want to take a look at his game log versus the Spurs. So I'm going to pull this up real quick, see if he's had some big games against the Spurs. So, last few games against San Antonio, yeah, he's had some big games against San Antonio. I know it's a different scenario. A lot of his games last season were without Jamal Murray, without Michael Porter Jr., but 41 points, 35 points, 32 points, 26, 25, 35, 25. Basically his last 7 or 8 games against San Antonio, he has 25 points or more in almost all those games except for one. There was one game where he only had 22 points. Every other game, 25 points or more. So he's also had a lot of success in this matchup. I think that's another positive too. So I like this one as our second pick for today to round out our 2-pick entry. Going to be taking Nikola Jokic to have more than 24.5 points. And these are 2 picks I'm going to be playing for this Saturday NBA slate, guys. I will be sharing a couple more plays today over on Patreon. As always, if you do want to get access to the Patreon content, check that all out. Link down below in the description if you are interested. But again, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you guys have not yet. And look at the bottom of the screen. Sign up for Prizepicks, use promo code NOAH. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. But best of luck tonight, guys. Thanks as always for watching the video, for supporting the content. Hopefully we can cash out on these 2 picks, have a good day, make some money today, and try and win a little bit of money heading into NFL on Sunday. But good luck, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.